Welcome to another episode of the Roughly Related to Reselling podcast. My name is Perry Phillips. I go by Perry Flips on Instagram with a Z. Pothead Picker on X. Flips and Giggles. Flips and Giggles on Facebook. And that's also the name of the eBay store, Flips and Giggles. And I think that's it. Did I get everything? If you like the podcast, subscribe, tell a friend. Make sure you sign up for notifications so that way you know when a new podcast gets dropped. Unfortunately, there's no set day as of right now, just because, again, I got to get in where I fit in. And this week, I didn't know if I was going to have time to do it this week. It's Thursday right now. Typically, I record. Usually, I'm doing them by like Wednesday at the latest. So Thursday's not too much later. But my wife has been on vacation, so she took off like from last Friday, and then she's off until I think she goes back to work Monday. So we're in like that final stretch of her vacation. Which on paper you're like, yeah, dude, my wife's off, like extra help with the kids. But in reality, that's not what happens. It's like there's just more stuff to do, you know what I mean? She's like, oh, here's the shit that you have to do at the house, or we're going to do these things and we're bringing the kids to do, like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, it's like, oh, we're going to have like a week where I can actually like get some stuff done, and I'm like so behind. I haven't had time to do anything. I've been doing like a few listings here and there, but yeah, my eBay store is like slowed down. It's crazy how like if you just don't do something for like a day or two on eBay, they're just like, go fuck yourself. But if you like are doing shit all the time and like changing your prices, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, here's your sales, daily sales, you know what I mean? Actually, yesterday wasn't bad. I had a good day yesterday. I had a bunch of like Nintendo stuff that like I knew it was like from a big Wii buy I bought like a big box of Wii stuff last week, I think, and I took out the stuff that I know sells quickly, just because sometimes it gets your account going, you know what I mean? You get those couple sales and it just kind of jumps, kickstarts. What am I trying to say? Kickstarts or jump starts your sales sometimes. So that's kind of at the point where I'm at. I've got like some good stuff. I just listed some stuff. I'll get into like the stuff I found. One of the things I found this past weekend, I already got it up listed. But yeah, I'm like, I'm just in that spot where like, and it's a good spot to be. After a while, like you realize like, oh, I want to be feeling this way. Like you want to be overwhelmed with stuff, because the alternative is like, oh fuck, I don't have stuff, and then you start making some bad buys, and you know what I mean? Right now, the way I am, I'm like, I'm overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that I have. I've still been like keeping up with like the what the fuck am I trying to say? I've still been keeping up with like taking pictures of everything, getting everything like inventorized and like into like, the way I have it, and but I'm just like, I've got a lot of stuff that I still haven't got to. There's stuff that I'm like, fuck, what am I gonna do? Like I bought a whole Wii Rock Band, and I haven't bought them in a while, and I was like, fuck, man, like, what am I going to do with this shit? Am I going to, like, sell it online? Like, it was basically, like, I walked up, and it was, like, they had, like, the Wii Sports Resort Edition console with the box and everything. And then they had, like, the Wii Fit Plus, and then, like, they had, like, a Band Hero drum set in the box and everything, like, opened, but in the box. It actually doesn't look like it's been used, other than like just to like open the box had just been opened. Like it doesn't look like it's actually been used. So they had that in like a big pile, and it was like 9:00 after I'd been out since like 7 driving around, not purchasing anything. So, and I found it at this like elderly, like Council on Aging does a big yard sale every year. And so like every year I go there, they literally like the last like 3 or 4 years I've gone there, and I'll get there early, like 8:30, whatever, 8:45, and they'll be like, oh, we're not letting anybody in until the time that it starts or whatever. So I go, okay. So then I get there this time, like, so the last few years I'm like, all right, I'm off doing something. I'm like, I'll just come back, you know. And then I get back there and like I'll get back like 15 minutes before they open and they're already letting people shop. I'm like, what the fuck, man? I was just here 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, and you told me that you guys weren't open until whatever time. Whatever, no big deal. You're allowed to open whatever time. So this is like the last 3 years I've done, 3 or 4 years I've gone there, and this has happened. And so this time I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to fucking wait. I don't have any other sales to get to. I'm already late to the other sales I'm trying to go to. I'll just wait. Whatever. I don't feel like coming back here. Like, I just want to get this done with. And they made us wait till fucking 9 o'clock on the dot to walk in. I'm like, are you kidding me? The 1 year I actually stayed and waited and you made it, like, I felt like they were fucking with me. And then there was this old couple. I knew they were like, because they always sell shit in town. They have yard sales and they'll sell toys. And then they like fucking mark these toys up. Like, it's like, it doesn't bother me when people sell the same things as me. But what does bother me is when you do it poorly. It's like, why are you buying all these toys just to fucking try to sell them for prices nobody's going to buy them from you? Like, nobody at going to a yard sale is going to pay those prices for the toys that you're trying to sell. And yeah, I've had a couple run-ins with that lady, and she like ran over and grabbed this big bin of toys. And I was like, motherfucker. I don't think it was anything crazy. I definitely think the Wii things, because that caused me to go and like pivot and go like to a whole nother section because I was annoyed. I didn't want to fucking. And then right as she was walking out with the thing, the handle broke and she fucking dropped a big bin. This old lady. I know I shouldn't laugh, but I fucking hate when that shit happens. They like fucking muscle you out for some shit, and then and she dropped it and it fucking spilled all over the ground. It's like, and of course my asshole, like, I was like, oh, you fucking, that's what you get. And it wasn't even like my thing to claim. It was just like, I just know she sells the same thing as me. I know she's terrible at it. And it's just annoying that she's just like, oh, I'm going to go take this whole bin of fucking toys and then just basically sit on it because nobody's going to buy it at my prices. And like her fucking, she's there with her husband. I'm assuming it's her husband. He can barely walk. Like they've had to several times like move him very gently with his fucking cane. So I couldn't just push him over. So I'm like, oh, she's like fucking using human shield right now with this fucking guy. So yeah, I had to laugh when the fucking handle broke and it fell out of her hands. That I thought was pretty funny. There was a Christmas tree I was gonna grab too, but I was like, I like one of those ceramic Christmas trees, but I was like, I don't feel like dealing with it. And like I turned around, it was already gone. So then I went into the other part of the sale, and that's where I saw the Wii thing. And they're like, oh, we haven't priced it yet. And of course, right as I walk up, they're like, oh, $50. As we do 40. She's like, no, it's still really early. I'm like, everything else in this place is priced at like $1 to $2. And like, this is one thing that you're going to price. And I don't even want half the shit. I just wanted this. I should have just been like, can I give you $10 for just this part? And you can sell the rest of this shit. But instead, I took the whole thing like a fucking idiot. I'll still make money on it. It's just going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass. And that's now sitting here. So yeah, that's yeah. And then I had a friend. So I had a friend. I think I've talked about him on here in the past. But my friend Dan, who was doing the what is it? Flip the table was his thing. The dude I worked with, like, not worked with, but helped him, like, start his reselling career, one of my buddies. So he called me this past week, and he's like, oh, he's got, like, a storage unit just full of fucking board games. Because that's what he was going to sell was board games. And I helped him get, like, a ton of these board games. And so he's like, yeah, can you help me start selling these things? You motherfucker, I hope he fucking listens to this and hears this. So I'm like, yeah, sure, dude, I'll fucking. So now I'm trying to figure out a time to go and help him out and clear this storage. I don't think he needs to clear it, but he's just trying to make some money off this stuff that's just been sitting there. So I got to kind of brainstorm the best way to sell board games. But yeah, it's one of those things that, like, I don't know. I don't know too much about them. I sell them occasionally, board games. I used to pick them up all the time. And like, then I just started getting them in piles and just giving them to him. But half the time I'll grab a game like, oh, This game's old. I've never heard of it before. It's got like a popular theme or something, and then it's just worth not shit. I sold like the Goonies board game before. I sold when I first started selling, I had this lady who used to hit me up all the time. I don't know what the fuck happened to her. She might have died or something. I haven't heard from her. I called her the other day and didn't hear anything from her, or texted her and didn't hear anything. I should have called her, but she usually calls me back whenever I text her, but I haven't heard back from her in like years now. But she was doing like cleanouts and shit. I have to imagine she stopped doing it because she was like, she had so much shit all the time, and she would sell stuff to me and like other people, I'm sure, but they just always had a ton of stuff. And she gave me like a bunch of board games one time, and who knows, she probably found some other fucking reseller who buys shit from her. I used to pay up on shit too from her. Like she would give me a price and I'd always pay her over, trying to keep her business. And so I really hope she just, died and didn't find another reseller. I'd be really butthurt if she just was still alive and she just found another reseller and she didn't actually just die. You know what I mean? I'd be like, fuck. Because I used to pay more than she would ask. She'd be like, here, this is how much I want for this lot. I'd be like, all right, well, here's like, $40 to $50 more. Just trying to keep that gravy train coming. Because for a while, she would hit me up all the time. And then, it was like the last time I talked to her was like maybe 2 years ago. The first time I went there, it was like I was a little annoyed because she like invited me in. She's like, yeah, you can pick through like this whole thing. It was just like a whole like kind of like a barn. And then like people are never like kind of clear with their intentions. Sometimes you get to a place and they'll be like, yeah, they'll call you over to look at their stuff, and you get there and they're just like, they're like weird about you looking through shit. It's like, well, you called me to come look at this stuff. Like, what did you think was going to happen? I don't know if anybody's ever experienced that, but they're like, you'll come over, you think it's like a private pick, and they'll be like, oh, well, I just have this pile of stuff for you to look at. And you're like, oh, what the fuck? Why am I looking through this other stuff? Or they'll be like, yeah, look through everything, make a pile, and you make a pile, like, oh, that stuff's not for sale. Like, motherfucker. You know what I mean? It's like, you got to figure out what's for sale and what's not for sale before you start having people come look. So, yeah. It's been a long week. It was like a fucking a heat wave. What day was it? Like Tuesday and Wednesday. Or yesterday, I think, was the hottest day. Yeah, yesterday was like, Tuesday. It was Tuesday. It was hot on Monday, but then Tuesday was like fucking, it was Tuesday because we went to the beach on Tuesday. So Tuesday was like the hottest day. It was like almost 100 degrees. So we went to the beach and it was like 10 degrees cooler by the beach. But like the beach when you're an adult and you have kids, the beach is always kind of I've talked about this before on the podcast, my favorite part of the beach, that still holds up, is when you leave. And it's not like I hate being at the beach. It's just like there's no better feeling than like driving away from the beach after dragging everything out there, dragging everything back, and you get everything into the car and you're like, all right, now it's time to go get food or somewhere. So it was obviously like the first like crazy hot day of the summer. And we, I wasn't really involved in the planning. I never really am, and I should be. But it was my wife and her friend, and they decided on like 10:30 to get there, which it's already going to be busy at that point. You know what I mean? So we get there and we're late. And there's like two lines. And so there's one line, the parking lot's on the left. So we're in the left-hand lane, assuming the line is going left. It was not. It was going you had to be in the right side. So then the guy's like, no, you got to go turn around. So you had to fucking turn all the way around and go back to the end of the line. And then get in the line and wait. And then finally, like when you get in there, they let you in. And like it was filling up quick. So then once we got to the beach, we're like, oh shit, we're not going to find a spot. We luckily found one not too far from like the stairs. We found like a perfect spot that was like, we got to set up our canopy and shit, and everything was cool. But then her friend wasn't able to make it because they got there even later. And so it was just us, basically like a family beach day. But it was so fucking hot outside. And yeah, you're just basically sitting there like baking in the sun. So I've got like a huge sunburn. Yeah, it was fun though. I mean, the beach is fun to a point, but it's crazy because yeah, when you're an adult and you have kids, you're like, it's not a relaxing thing because you're like, everything at the beach can pretty much kill your child. You know what I mean? Like if they dig too far into the sand, that shit can collapse and bury them. They can die. They could get just swept away by an undertow, and die. You get fucking picked off by a shark and die, taken by somebody that's not their parent, and God knows what. Get lost, wander in the ocean, drown. There's a lot of fucking things that can happen when you're at the beach with your kids. So it's not like relaxing, and it's only going to get worse because they're going to want independence. You're going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, go into the beach water by yourself because you're a strong swimmer, like just go and try not to die. There's like something I just saw, two kids just got like swept away. I think they are okay-ish. I mean, they're fucked up, but like, yeah, that shit just like can sweep you away at any time. I don't fuck with the ocean. It's not my favorite place to be. I could go years without going to a beach. Like I like a beach when there's no possibility of us going in the water. You know what I mean? Like we're at a restaurant, we're like, oh look, they have a beach. Let's fucking walk down and stick our feet in the water maybe. But I don't want to go on a cruise. I see there's that documentary right now on Netflix, and it's about that poop cruise, and it's like, yeah, that's not even, you could show me that documentary. I would have already made up my mind that I wasn't going. You could show me that documentary. It would just reinforce the fact that I'm not going. But like the poop documentary, if I was like on the fence about going to a cruise, like the poop documentary is not gonna like sway, you know what I mean? People who already go on cruises aren't gonna be like, oh, the poop thing's not a big deal, you know what I mean? It's not gonna sway anybody who wasn't already. Hold on, I thought I heard some fucking walking upstairs. It's not gonna sway anybody who wasn't already like, again, it's not gonna be like you've already made up your mind at that point. You know what I mean? If a poop thing is gonna make you like be like, oh, I don't want to go on that car, I don't think that's gonna do it for somebody who's insane enough to go on a cruise. I'm sorry. I've just got completely like tongue twisted and fucked up. Thought I heard footsteps and then I realized it wasn't. But yeah, a cruise, it's like the last thing I want to do is go on a cruise. So if you show me like a documentary about a whole shit catastrophe that happens on a cruise ship, it's just going to make me want to go even less. And if I'm somebody who loves cruise ships, you show me that documentary, it's probably not going to affect the way I think about them. Like it's already a gross situation, just people piled on top of each other. You're in a boat. You're not really doing anything cultured. You're just kind of going to these islands, if anything, getting off, like maybe you get your hair braided by some fucking person on the beach, or you get a flute or something, and it's just not. And I'm not like a cultured person. I'm not like somebody who's like, yeah, dude, we gotta go see like the fucking Smithsonian, and let's go see the fucking I just completely the Sistine Chapel. I just was trying to think of like something. Like Smithsonian was like the one that popped up. So clearly I'm not fucking cultured, but it's just the idea of doing it with a bunch of other people who are less cultured than me, pretending that we're doing something that's like, so fun and cultured, and like not that we're just like on this big shit ship. Yeah, I don't know. I've never been on a cruise, never had a desire. My friends went on a cruise when I was younger, and that probably would have been the only time that you would have got me on a cruise. And then after the fact, they were like, yeah, it was a fucking nightmare. And these were like, my friends were like 17, 18 at the time. I think my friend's older brother went with them. He was probably like 20, 21 at the time, maybe. And they all were like, yeah, it was a fucking nightmare. Like, it was not like, and then you have to sleep and it's fucking sloshing you around and you feel like fucking no, thank you. And plus there's there's theories that like UFOs and shit that are out in the ocean, which if I was a UFO, that's where the fuck I would be if I could go down there. Why the fuck would I be over here where everybody's at? I'd be out exploring crazy. Like the ocean is so vast and it's just fucking nuts how much stuff is in the ocean. It's crazy to think about what could be in the ocean. I just started my brain to bring it back to reselling, because I know I just went completely off topic. I just completely thought about like the amount of treasures. Like if you just sucked up all the water, if there was like a device that could just suck up all the water like in a cartoon and then just hold it for a second while you check for all the treasures at the bottom of the ocean and then just put it all back. That'd be cool. No, it's like cartoon territory. So yeah, I don't even remember how I got onto that subject or what. Anyway, let me see what else I have to talk about. It might be a shorter episode today just because I've got a ton of shit to do. I don't know who that is. Oh, I do know who that is. Anytime I get a Facebook request from people, I'm like, who the fuck? People still send those? And then I remember after the fact, like, who it is. Oh, shit. I'm dropping my phone. I have just a bunch of, like, random shit. Oh, yeah, so since I was talking about the heat wave, I might as well talk about this because this is kind of an easier segue than trying to force a segue. So the day we went to the restaurant, the one that I was talking about when I was like, oh, it was so hot, we left the beach. And so the one thing I was going to say was that, like, one of the crucial things when you're leaving the beach, one of my favorite parts is like leaving the beach knowing, oh, I'm going to sit down in an air-conditioned establishment. So my wife was like, oh, let's get this Mexican restaurant, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, all right, cool, let's go check it out. So we go and we walk into this restaurant. And as soon as I walk in, I see they have fans on, but it's not, the AC is not on. I'm like, oh, either the AC is broken in here or they have not put the AC on. Like, it's fucking hot in here. But I really did not want to go back out into the heat and walk to another restaurant. Like, it was cool enough to where it was like made me stay there, but I was just getting like mad that there was no AC. Like, my wife was a perfectly fine. She was happy because she was like, oh, I don't want to be cold. I'm like, but yes, you should want to be cold when it's fucking hot as balls out and we're sunburned. Like, I just want to be a little bit cold. I want to be like, I need a little bit of a jacket, even though I was just out in the sun all fucking day and I know it's 1,000 degrees outside. So anyway, I noticed that there's a female manager on duty. Like, we got there like right around, if you've worked restaurant, you know that like there's a morning shift and then there's like a night shift. And they were kind of in the middle of that transition. Like, the morning people were leaving, the night people were coming in. So they had a morning manager that was there, and she was actually pretty hot. I wasn't gonna lie, she was kind of a hot manager. But as soon as I saw that it was a female manager, I said to my wife, I was like, that's the reason that it's fucking hot in this fucking restaurant right now. I was like, because if it was a male manager, he would be on top. I can see the thermostat, I see all the vents, I know that there's AC in this place. It's too nice and new not to have fucking AC. It's got to be on. Like, there's got to be an issue with it. And then as soon as I see that there's a female manager, I go, oh, that's the fucking reason that it's not a suitable temperature for a heat wave right now. And so I say that to my wife. I go, that's the reason why. Hold on a second. I got to go upstairs real quick. I'll get right back to this story. All right, I'm back. Sorry. That's the other reason that vacation with my wife home is like not a vacation, is that my youngest is like fucking what's the word? Like clingy. Yeah, clingy is the word, but she's just obsessed with like my wife now. Right now, it's like I just went up there. She had a poop in her diaper, so I changed her. And she's like, I want mommy to tuck me in. It's like, I'm like, mama's not even here. She's not even at the house. And now she's just up. She's tired as fuck. She's going to fall asleep on the floor. I can almost guarantee it. But yeah, so it just makes it that much more difficult because when she's here, she's like, I want mama to do everything for me. Like, you can't do anything. I try to like just do it. You know what I mean? If it's like something, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to do it because you're not going to run the fucking house like that. You know what I mean? Like, you don't run shit. We run shit. But it's just, it gets old because it's like every 2 seconds she's like, I want mama for this, I want mama for this. But when she's not home, she's fine. She doesn't give a fuck. She's like, oh, she'll take a nap. She'll go right down for a nap. When mama's here, she's like, oh, I'm going to fucking be a terror. Anyway, sorry. That was just like another little thing. I'll get back to the AC. So anyway, I tell my wife, I'm like, yeah, that's the reason that fucking there's a female manager. And that's the reason that it's fucking hot in this place. It's not broken. I can guarantee you that's the reason. 5 minutes later, the night manager walks in and he's a male. And the first fucking thing he does, and because we were seated right next to like the server station. So he comes over and I hear him start talking to the day manager about why it's so fucking hot in the restaurant. I'm like, dude, I fucking told you. It was so, because my wife like kind of like, when I said that, I was like, the reason it's so fucking hot in here is because it's a female manager. My wife kind of was like, yeah, okay. Like, you know, she kind of like agreed, but like was like, you know, you're a fucking asshole. So as soon as I heard, I was like, and I looked at her because she could hear the whole conversation too. So I looked at her, I was like, like it was the female manager. And she's like, I could hear her telling him like, oh, I had it at, it's at 80 right now. Like it was like 82 when I walked in. So I think it's just taking a while to go down. Like, da, da, da. And I'm like, no, there's no way you have it set. She says, the way she said it like they had it set to 80. And like, yeah, as soon as that dude came in, he was like, fuck it with the thermostat. I was like, dude, it's, yeah, you can't have a woman in charge of the thermostat. I'm sorry, you can't, because they need to just bring jackets. It's a fucking it's the hottest day of the fucking year. If you need to bring a sweatshirt, there's something wrong with you. Like, there's no reason why you need a sweatshirt when it's a fucking 100 degrees. I get it. It's chilly in the restaurant. It's 100 degrees outside. Just be glad you're chilly for a few fucking minutes. To have it on 80 when it's that fucking hot outside. Any other situation I would have left, but I'm like, it's so fucking hot that I don't want to go back outside in this heat. Because then I have to walk to the next place. Like, the food ended up being good, and it was hella quick. It was like literally like 5 minutes. It was like fast food. It was like a high-end looking Mexican spot, but like the food took the quickest I've ever been. It was like faster than fucking Taco Bell. It was pretty good. It wasn't like the worst shit ever, but that was just the craziest shit. Like, to be vindicated like that, like almost instantly, to be like, you know why it's fucking hot in here? It's because a woman's in charge, right? And my wife's like, oh, okay. And then 2 minutes later, the dude comes in like, why the fuck is it so hot? It's like, well, what the fuck did I told you. I wasn't lying about the fact that like a dude is not going to let that shit fly. It's too fucking hot. It's too hot. You can't be doing that shit in that heat. So yeah. Anyway, this is just like another parenting fun, like little, I've just got like little tidbits and stuff of like little things that happen throughout the week. So I just am kind of getting caught up on everything. But hold on. So we were outside, went to it was like the other day, I think it was Monday. So it was supposed to get hot like around 10:30. So we're like, all right, we'll go take the girls to a playground in the morning so they can run around before it gets too hot. So we get them out the door. We get to the playground and we're hanging out, and like my oldest is like now at the time where she's kind of like saying shit, not even like inappropriate. It's just like she's just saying shit, you know what I mean? And so we're sitting and it's dead silent. It's like me and my family. There's a bald dude with tattoos, like, you know, he's probably a nice guy. He just kind of, you know, when you're in the middle of a park and there's nobody else there, you know, you look kind of sketchy. And I say this as a guy with tattoos, you know what I mean? I'm like, you look kind of sketchy if you're a dude with tattoos and you're in a park. And so he's out over there shooting hoops by himself. And we're on the swings. So we're like, you know, kind of close to where he's at. And it's dead silent. And my daughter goes, hey, mama, did you just see that guy miss the hoop? like right after he bricked a ball. Right after a brick, dude, my daughter is just like, did you see that loser fucking miss? Like, oh my God. And I'm just like, I didn't even know what to say because we're like, because I don't want to be like, yo, you know what I mean? I don't like to tell her to like stop saying shit. But it was like, yeah, I was just like, that's the thing you chose to say. Like, he definitely heard it. He was not that far away. I feel like he definitely had to have heard it. It was probably like, fuck this little kid. Like, who the fuck does she think she is? That was probably the highlight of the week for me. That was fucking funny. Let me see if this kid's sleeping yet. I think she's got to be sleeping. She was tired as fuck. Anyway, let me get back to my little list of things. I saw a midget. I don't know if you're supposed to say midget anymore, but I was driving a yard sale, so it technically counts as reselling. It was just a random little person. So that's always a fun sighting. I always get pumped when I see little people because I'm like, yo, you're out there killing it, dog. I don't know why I put that down. It was just something that happened while I was going out to yard sales, and it is what it is. It's not saying I was like, oh, but I didn't like point and laugh. I was just like, oh shit, hey, how's it going? So yeah, and then this weekend actually, I guess I'll get to like the Actually, I'll talk about this instead because this was like a shorter thing. So I do this thing, and it kind of backfired like twice. I don't know if people are catching on to it or what, but my little strategy has which has worked for a long time, has kind of backfired twice. One was my fault. One reason was my fault, and the other one was kind of my fault too. So the first situation was I went to lower the price. So like, let's say like I have something up and I have a bunch of washers and I get an offer for $100 and it's at like $180. So what I'll do is I'll gradually, as soon as I get that offer, I'll immediately lower the price from like, $180 down to $170, and then so on and so forth. And I'll go down like $10 increments and then to $5 increments until it either sells or I get close enough to the asking or to the offer price that I'm like, fuck it, I'll just take the offer. But I had that Donkey Kong shirt and I had it listed at like, I forget what it was listed at, but I got an offer for $100. And I was like, you know what? I can get at least $10 more on this. So at this point, I think I was at like 140 or 150. So I just started gradually lowering the price. And I got down to like 124.5, and I was like, all right, I'm just drop it down $5 to 119 until I get to 110, and that's where I think that I'll, wait. And then if I don't get anything sold, then I'll take the offer or whatever. So as I started getting closer to the $100 offer, I got a couple more offers. One was another $100 offer, then another for like, 70 or 80. So I'm like, somebody's going to pull the trigger once I get to 110. Like, I know that. I knew that was going to happen. So as I'm doing it, I go and I get from like 125 and I lower it down to 199, 90, or 119.99. I'm already fucking it up in my head. And then I go and I close it. And after I close it down, you can see it'll pop up like with the new price. And so the shirt pops up and it's priced at $19.99. And I have an offer of $100. And I wanted it to be down to $119.99. Dude, my kids were fucking talking to me. Everything was going on. I shouldn't have done it right that second. But man, as soon as I saw it, I quickly jumped into the listing, revised it, changed it back to $119.99, and did it so quick. I don't think anybody even got a notification. It was that quick. And, yeah, if I hadn't noticed that, I would have been fucking kicking myself. I would have lost so much money, like $90 or something like that on that sale. So that was good. And then another thing that happened. So I had these two Coach purses. I got one that sold, and then I had another one that I had that got an offer. So they sent an offer for like $120. I accepted it. And then after like a day, they didn't pay, and then they sent me a message like, "Oh, I want to buy this, blah blah blah. Give me till Friday, blah, blah, whatever." So then I'm like, "Oh, this fucking asshole." So I'm like, "Fuck it." I just start dropping the price, trying to get other people to buy it. So then they don't pay, and they send me a lower offer of like $70 or $80 or something like that. So I'm like, "Well, what the fuck? Like, was this the person that just didn't pay, and now they're sending me $40 lower offer?" And I should have just blocked them and been like, told them to fuck off and like, listen, or I should have told them like, listen, you can buy it at the 120 that you originally agreed on, but for whatever reason I was busy and I wasn't like, fully invested in paying attention. So like as I was dropping the price, they were like, then they sent me another lower offer. And so I declined it, and then they sent me the original $80 offer. I should have declined that and been like, listen, you need to send me the 120. And I couldn't remember if it was the person, but then I found where it was, and of course, as soon as I had accepted it, and then they paid for it, I was like, motherfucker. So they got it like $40, and they originally were going to get it for. So I should have just been patient. So that kind of bit me in the ass. So 2 times this week. It was both kind of my own fault. I should have played the second one a little bit better. I should have told them like, hey, you need to fucking pay the original price. I don't give a fuck what I've dropped it to. I did that because you were fucking dicking around. So I'm not in a rush to sell this, but I kind of was in a rush to sell it. I'm always kind of in a rush to sell my shit. I just want it gone. I want the money in my pocket. In my pocket. Let's see what else. So yeah, that was fucking crazy. That was like, and then I had another like weird Facebook interaction. So it was like one of the reseller groups that I'm a part of. This guy posted like, oh, if anybody's looking for inventory in the like the what's it called area, like it was basically where I live. I don't remember what he said it a weird way. It was like the east coast of Massachusetts or something like that, or eastern Massachusetts. I can't remember how he said it. So, I reached out and like, I was like, hey, what type of stuff do you have, this, that, and the other? And he immediately sends me a voice note. Like, you can send voice notes in Facebook. Anytime people do that, I'm like, all right, this is going to be like more information than I fucking need. And it was 3 to 4 minutes long, and he sends me this thing, and I don't know what the fuck this guy's talking about. He's talking about like how he's got all this stuff that he does clean outs, and this stuff has just been sitting in a pile, and this, and like he's like telling me all this shit. I'm like, okay. At this point, I'm like, this is not going to be worth having to hear this guy fucking jib jab the whole time I'm picking through his stuff. Plus, he was like kind of far away from me. It was like 2 hours away, I think, after like it was all said and done. I looked it up. And so then he sends me another voice message. It's like 7 minutes long. And I didn't even listen. I got through like half of it. I'm like, I can't listen to what the fuck this guy. So I just said, sorry, I'm not interested. I don't think, I don't think this is going to work out, whatever. This isn't really anything that's up my alley. And so, I appreciate you, whatever. And so then that's it. So then he starts texting me like different shit, like, hey, I think somebody reported me in that group and my post is completely gone. Blah, blah. And then I didn't respond to that. I didn't respond to before that. He had said something before that about something. Didn't respond. And then he's like, yeah, it definitely got removed. Like reaches out. This is hours later. Like, yeah, it definitely got removed. So I'm like, are you accusing me of this? I don't want anything to do with you. You just annoyed the fuck out of me. So I was like, just get the fuck away from me. Oh, what was that? And so anyway, yeah, long story short, I got distracted. I thought somebody was walking by my window, but I don't know, I think it was a bird. Anyway, I completely forget what the fuck I was just talking about. That's fucked up. Oh, yeah. So this guy, like, yeah. So then I just blocked him. I was like, dude, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But it was like hours later he came back and was like, yeah, I think I was removed from that group or like blocked from that group. It's like, I don't know. You were kind of sketchy. You were sending people fucking long ass like diatribes about like, what the fuck? Like, keep it short. Like I sent you a message. Just send me a fucking message back. Like I don't need a whole long fucking thing. And then they're like, well, it's just quicker for me to, it's like, not if you're sending a 7-minute to 10-minute thing, then I got to stop and listen to it. And like, it's like, no, that's not a helpful thing. Those things are for like quick things that are too long for text, but like that should be shorter than, a fucking monologue, a Saturday Night Live monologue. Jesus fucking Christ. So then, and again, this is probably, I was probably in the wrong here. But I made a credit card payment late. It was just like one of those, I just completely forgot. It was like 2 days afterwards, and I went, fuck, I forgot to pay it. So I go back, and they want you to do auto pay. That's like their whole thing. Like, well, did you know auto pay? And I didn't really want to fucking do auto pay, just because I don't like doing auto pay most of the time. Unless they give me a discount for it, I'm not doing it. And so I was like 2 days late. So I'm like, all right, let me just call, and they should take it away. It's like a $30 fee. And they're like, well, we've already done this for you one other time. And it was like a year prior to that. It was like right after the account had gotten opened, and I like didn't realize what the date was. And so they're like, no, we won't fucking reverse it. And so like, I try to escalate, and if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, I'm going to get my money's worth, like wasting the company's time, right? Like I'm just going to keep their employee on long enough to where I'm like, all right, I felt like I've wasted a sufficient amount of your time and your company's time for my nonsense. I feel better now. So it's kind of like one of those situations, where I'm not really mad, but I'm just kind of like just trying to waste your time and maybe try to get you to say something that like you shouldn't say, so I can be like, all right, gotcha. Like, let's fucking do this. Give me my fucking discount now, bitch. And so it got like to the end, and I knew I wasn't going to win. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to ruin this lady's day. This lady, I know it's not her policy, and I know she probably can do something, but she's being a fucking bitch anyway. So I was like, fuck it. You know what? I was like, well, you know what? At one point, AI is going to take your job here. And I was like, and I can't wait for that day, because you guys are absolutely unhelpful. And I was like, and there's really no need for you to even be employed. So like AI is going to take your job at one point, and I'm just going to like, live with the fact that I know that you're fucked, whatever. I didn't say all that in so many words. I basically was just like, AI is going to take your job. And I'm just hoping that she like was sitting on that for the rest of the day, because she probably has to be like, fuck, the AI is probably going to take my job. You know what I mean? And most people aren't going to go there. She probably heard a bunch of different shit like, oh, fuck you, whatever. And she probably hasn't heard, well, AI is going to take your job, so good luck, lady. She's probably like, fuck, that guy was right. I should find another job. What the fuck am I doing here? So yeah. So then this weekend, I found not one, but two, like, I'll get back to that, because I have that one written down. I'll talk about what I did today. So today there was a, actually, let me go back up even further. So I have the trailer, the trailer that I bought earlier in the year, and we had to remove our pool, our fucking swimming pool, because our swimming pool has like been there since forever. It was there when we moved into the house. And so, we basically broke down all the metal and stuff, and it was all aluminum. So I was like, all right, I might get a little bit of money for it. So I took the first batch to the recycling place. It was my first time like bringing scrap metal and stuff. So I was like, yeah, maybe it's worth it to, pick up scrap metal here and there. And so I get there, and like, of course I got to back it in like hella far, and I have not mastered backing in with the trailer, but I think I did a good enough job. Like I fucked up a couple times, and the little Mexican guy had to come and fucking help me a little bit. But like for the most part, like I think I did fine. And then I went back today, and I fucking crushed it. I didn't need any help. Just fucking boom, 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 right back in there, dropped it off. But I got like 135 the first time, and then 45 the next time. So like 180 total for 2 trailers worth of metal. I mean, if it's just sitting there, yeah, I guess. But like, I don't know if it's worth it for me to go. Like if I had it every day, if I was just getting free metal every day, then yeah, it definitely is worth it for sure. If you have the time and like the means to transport it. But yeah, so I did that, and like, I was pretty proud of myself that today I got to figure it out. So I dropped that stuff off, and I was like, all right, well, I'm near. There was an estate sale kind of not too far, like 20 minutes from where I was at the trailer. So I was like, whatever, I'll just go there. And I got there like half hour before, 40 minutes before they were opening. And I thought it was just like a company, not a company. I thought it was just a private one. Because sometimes you'll go to a sale that's like not really near, like sometimes I'll go to a sale that's not near where I normally go out of. And like I kind of know who all the companies are, but this sale, like it was posted to a couple different spots, but apparently they're a company because everybody knew the dude's name. So like there was already a group of people there waiting to get in. Because I got there like 9:20, and then luckily he let everybody in like 10 minutes later. So they were all like, because all those people were, you get to a sale and people are talking about like the company, and they're like, oh yeah, sometimes they let us in, sometimes they don't. And so it was like one of those, are they going to let you in? Are they not? And so he actually just let everybody in, and he's like, oh, I don't care if they get mad. So I guess talking about the people that were going to be coming after the fact, because resellers will get annoyed by that. If you put a start time as a certain time and then you switch it, the resellers will get annoyed. I had this one guy who always bitched about that at mine sales. Like, you said no early birds. Nah. It's like, I don't give a shit. I meant like early fucking birds. Like, you know what I mean? Like an hour early is not an early bird. Like fucking knocking on the door before you're out. You know what I mean? Like that's, if you got your shit out and it's in the driveway, come on now, homie. Yeah, so then I went out and I was like, I've been talking before about how like my poor decisions have like kind of like been becoming an issue. Not like becoming an issue, but like it's just kind of like haunting me every week. I just keep I keep zagging when I should zig or zigging when I should zag. And normally I'm good with that type of stuff. But this year my instincts have just been like completely off. So I wasted like almost 2 hours of time on Saturday that I could have been going to other sales, just wasting time. I drove like 30 minutes to a sale because they said they had video games. I should have. It was like the classic, like a little bit of a picture shown. And then I got there and the pictures were old. So like all the good games have already been gone. And they were trying to ask like $5 a piece on the games that were left. I'm like, dude, get the fuck out of here. So that was a complete waste of time. And then I went to another place. So I should have just like stuck to my original plan, which was to like stick around town, and I would have done a lot better. But it ended up working out because there was one that I usually go to that I go early and she lets me go in. And because I didn't go in that early, there was other sales actually like set up in the neighborhood by the time I got back. And so this guy had been putting up a sign. He couldn't really read it, but like I asked him what the address was. So he told me what it was, so I knew. And so I get there to his sale. I'm like walking up, and I can see from the bottom of the driveway, like the box for the Shogun Warriors, the Mattel like robot toys from back in the day. And I know they go for money, like, especially if they're in good condition with accessories and stuff. So I see that there's like another little box of Shogun Warriors, but it's like a little model, which still goes for a little bit of money. And then a couple of like vintage electronic games like Coleco and one of the other games. I can't remember what the name of it was. And so I walk up and I see them like standing, and they're just kind of like sitting at this guy's feet. So I'm like, fuck, I just missed a huge score. I thought he was like standing there waiting for the yard sale owner to come out so he could pay for his stuff. And he's just like, good morning. I'm like, good morning. I'm like, is that stuff sold? The stuff right there? Like pointing at the toys. And he goes, no, I just pulled this out. I was like, oh, how much do you want for it? And he just looks at it all. Well, first, one of the Coleco games wasn't in there at first. He just looks at it, he goes, $5 for everything? I'm like, fucking like sold. Like I knew I was going to get at least a couple $100 for that stuff. And so then I see the Coleco is like a Coleco bowling game. I'm like, oh, how much for this? He's like, oh, just throw it in. So I got 4 like vintage toys and stuff for $5. Like, and I was in and out of that was the only good thing. He had some Stephen King books. It wasn't anything first edition, and like I could have checked for autos and stuff, but I should have asked how much for all the books. You know what I mean? I'm thinking of like retrospectively here now. Whatever. There wasn't anything crazy. It was like a handful of Stephen King and then a bunch of other shit, but what are you going to do? Sometimes I don't want to deal with stuff, and I'm like, I know I'm not going to want to deal with it. And so I was happy to take that stuff. I felt like I was robbing him. I was like, I want to get out of here before anybody tells him what this shit's worth. So then I left and went to, there was the sale that I normally go to that lets me in early. So this was like an hour after they opened. And there was a couple, like, there was an old vintage Toy Story toy that goes for some money. And there was like, that was probably about it. The lady was like, oh, these are here from last year. I don't think they were, because I would have bought the one that was worth some money. So maybe the cheaper one was, but she went down on the price. I was like, all right, I'll grab those. And so I'm getting ready to leave. And so I finish up with the yard sales for the day. And I'm like, I hit up my wife. Usually when I'm out doing yard sales, if we got stuff to do, like we're going to go somewhere after, I'll just grab Dunkin' Donuts and we'll like get in the car and go. And so I stopped at Dunkin' Donuts and like, I've fucked up so many times getting food or, just with breakable shit where I'm just being careless. So I'm making sure I'm putting everything away. I'm making sure there's no like way I can fucking spill this stuff. Getting all the food put, securely snug so it's not getting grease on anything. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go. And I start driving. And instantly, as soon as I start driving, I had left the coffee cup right next to the cup holder. And it falls onto the seat. Luckily, there's a couple napkins already on there from like something from earlier. And then like a receipt from the post office because we had just gone to the post office. So that stuff like absorbed the coffee. And it missed the Shogun box was up there. I put all the valuable stuff up front because I was like, oh, I don't want to wreck this stuff. So I put that stuff up front. And of course I'm like, oh, it didn't spill on the Shogun Warrior box. It didn't spill on the, what was it? It didn't spill on anything up front. Like all this stuff that was like more expensive-ish was all up front and didn't spill on any of that stuff. I was so fucking like, it was like a miracle that it didn't. I was like, this must be like my day. I was trying to find Pokemon cards after that. Because I was like, this is my fucking day. It was crazy. I couldn't believe that it didn't get on anything. Like it's got a little bit on this thing I got for free. Like I found an action figure, which I was going to take it out of the package anyway, because the package is fucked. So it was like, no love lost there, or whatever the fucking saying is. But yeah, it just completely spilled. I'm like, what a fucking moron I am, dude. I can't even believe that I just spilled it. Can't even believe it. All right, let me see. I got a couple more minutes to talk. So let me see if there's anything else I missed. I think I got through pretty much everything. I'll tell an old story. It was just a story I was thinking that kind of like I kind of came to a realization about. You ever have a story where you're like, where it happens one way years ago, and then you remember the years later like a detail where you're like, wait a second, dude. So this was like, and I've almost like, I've kind of like quit drinking, not like quit drinking, but like I just don't, it's just not really fun for me anymore. I've talked about this on the podcast before. I don't feel like I miss it when I don't drink. Like if I don't drink, I don't regret not drinking, but like I always regret drinking. Does that make sense? Like I'll never regret not drinking, but like I almost always regret drinking, if that makes sense. Like whether it's feeling like shit or like, doing some dumb shit, sometimes I don't regret drinking sometimes, but most of the time now it's like more times than not, I regret it. So it's like, I've never regretted not drinking. But anyway, this was like back in the day when I was drinking and driving and acting just like a fucking psychotic person. And so this was at this point, I was in, it was like my 20th birthday, I think it was my 20th birthday. I had already got a they call it OUI in Massachusetts, operating under the influence. So I already had an OUI at like the age of 19 for drinking and driving. And at this point, my license was suspended and I was on probation. And so we went out for my birthday to Providence. And so like my friends don't have the best record as far as being like reliable. Like they're reliable in the way that like an old car is reliable. Like, maybe it'll get you where you need to go, but like more times than not, you're gonna be fucking pissed at this thing. And so we would gone out, and I remember I didn't want to take my car because nobody could drive my car except for like 2 people. So my buddy was like, "Yeah, I'll drive. I'll drive." I'm like, "Well, if you drive, you can't get fucked up because you have to drive us home. Like, I don't have a license. I don't have a fucking. I'm on probation. I can't fucking drive." So these dickheads, we take my car. We get to where we're going. We get to a bar where like we knew somebody who like hooked it up for us, so they basically like got us this place for free. Like we rented it out, and so we had our own like private spot that we were partying in. And these fucking assholes were like bored. They're like, "Oh, we gotta go somewhere else with girls." It's like they didn't understand the concept of like, you have this cool spot, the girls will come to you. And so they left me with my fucking car at this place, and I'm like fucking pissed at this point. I'm like, let's just fucking go, because I'm like, it was my birthday. You guys fucking left me to go somewhere else. Like, we're fucking going back. So if you're coming with me, you're coming back. So then I'm trying to drive around the fucking place that I know, like this is before GPS. Like, you had maybe MapQuest and shit. And so I'm with my buddy George, who's like, you know, he's Spanish speaking. And so he used to live there for like fucking years. So I'm trying to figure out, he's trying to give me directions to figure out where they're at, because we don't know where the fuck they're at. We're trying to figure out where to go to find them. And so we finally figure out where they're at. Like, we get there. I was so fucking mad. So sorry, let me back up a little bit. So I'm trying to figure out where they're at. And at this point, I had been missing one side mirror. So at one point, both of my side mirrors had been taken off just from like drinking and driving and partying like a fucking idiot. One was my fault. 2 of them were my fault. One of them was taken off. Some kids came to a party we were at and just like hit every car that was parked on the street with a baseball bat. So we didn't let them in the party, and my car was one of the cars that got fucked up. Fucking assholes. And so I think I just had one side mirror. I think this is how I lost the second side mirror. But I was driving, and so I'm driving through Providence, Rhode Island, trying to figure out where the fuck my friends are to try to get back home. I should have just gone home at this point, but I didn't even want to be driving like home. I wanted to just be like, have somebody else drive. But of course they're all fucked up, and I'm trying to find them to be like, yo, get in the fucking car, blah, 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 blah. So as we're driving there, we're lost, trying to figure out how the fuck where they're at, whatever. A cop car pulls up behind me, and I'm like, oh, God damn it. Like, at this point, because I was pretty fucking drunk, I wasn't planning on driving. And so as I'm trying to pull over to get out of their way, because at first I thought they were coming after me, but then I realized they were just trying to get by me. So as I'm pulling over to get out of their way, I fucking sideswipe a parked taxi cab, like literally right in front of a cop. He couldn't see me because we were right next to each other, but like I was pulled over to the side, and I just sideswiped this fucking taxi, and I lost my side mirror. Like, side mirror fell off. I pull over. My buddy George starts talking to him in Spanish, because the guy's Spanish. He's speaking Spanish. And the guy just goes like, no policia, go, like tells me to go. And my buddy George's like, yeah, I just talked him out of like, you know, calling the cops on us, blah, 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 whatever. Like, you know, you better fucking thank me because I speak Spanish. Because we used to, you know, shit. I'm Puerto Rican, but I would shit talk him because he spoke Spanish and I didn't. You know what I mean? Mm. And we all used to give him shit because he was Spanish speaking, you know. I don't remember what he was, like Guatemalan or some shit. No. I don't remember what he was. And so the other day I was just thinking about this story. And so anyway, I'll get back to that. Sorry. Sidetracked. To finish this story. So that happens. We take off. So at this point I'm like kind of sobered up now, because I'm like, my adrenaline's going. So I get to this fucking bar, dude. The bouncer lets me in, and I just fucking walked in, dude. I dragged my friends out. Like, I look like a parent, dude. I just dragged my friends out like I was dragging my kids out, like by the neck, because they were fucking hammered. I was like, dude, get in the fucking car. We're fucking going. You fucking left me. This, that. Like, I was rightfully pissed. I had no fucking license, I have no reason to be driving. I should not have been driving. And they fucking left me by myself. I was so pissed. But anyway, shit, what was I? So the thing that I realized about that story was, like, years later, was like, my buddy didn't say shit to that guy. Like, for a while he was like trying to take credit for like getting us out of that situation, but I'm like, that guy just didn't want the cops involved. Like, he would have said no policia to anybody, you know what I mean? Like, he was probably fucking illegal. I didn't know this at the time, you know what I mean? But like back in the day, I just was like, oh dude, thank you so much for fucking Spanish speaking your way out of this fucking, like, I would have been fucked. I had no license and I was on probation. I would have been in jail. Like, there was a few times I almost went to jail, like serious jail, just being a fucking idiot, and that was one of them. But anyway, that's the podcast. If you like the show, subscribe. Make sure you hit the alert button so you know when every new episode drops. And it's available everywhere you get your podcast. Check me out on Instagram, Perry Flips with a Z, Pothead Picker on X, and then Flips and Giggles is the eBay store. If you see something on the eBay store, I'm not the best at checking. I've had people like send me messages on Instagram, and I always either forget to check them, or like I don't see them for months because Instagram doesn't really notify me when I get messages. I don't know if I have to set up my settings. It just goes into the requests, and I don't get notified that there's a request until I check it, and I'm terrible at checking it. So if you see something in the store that you're interested in, send me a message on, like, Facebook's probably the best one, or Potted Picker, or just send a message on Instagram and hope that I hear it, or comment on something that I post and say, hey, I sent you a message, so I check it. Anyway, that's the podcast. I'll check in again next week. Peace.